Now is there a rhyme or reason? Why did I choose 7/8 by 7/8? I could have made it 3/4 by 3/4, 5/8 by 5/8, 1 inch by 1 inch. You know, whatever turns you on. Okay, so I'm just going to take my little scrap and I'm going to do this one first. And see, I got it up plenty high. My skill saw is set. It only goes down about 1/8. You don't want to do this with the full blade going down. Okay. And I'm going to, in fact, I'm going to recheck that because I think I might have moved it. It's going down. It's going down about a good 1/4, 3/8. So I'm gonna raise that blade up a little bit, about like that. I just don't want to hit the concrete because I got the 3/4 inch piece on there. Okay, so now I'm gonna cut that off, raise my fence up. That's not my fence. That's my saw guard. The fence is this. Okay. Sorry about that. Now I can just rasp this edge off. Like I said, I didn't have to do anything if I didn't want. I mean, at that point, if I wanted it any different, I could shave off a little bit right there and a little bit right there. I can do that. A little bit more. Do that over here. Now look at that. It almost looks round, doesn't it? I think that's what I'll do. Okay. There. It's not perfectly round, but it doesn't have to be perfect. See? So I'm just gonna spend a few minutes and I'm gonna get them all like that. Okay? You see anything hard about that with the rasp and the skill saw? I didn't think so. Okay, where I go, I'm gonna do that and then I'll show you what I do next after that. Incidentally, look, I did have a chalk line and it's got green chalk in it, and I forgot I had that. I had it in a black bag over here with all kinds of other goodies that I have. So I could have used that chalk line to make that long cut. So you know, every once in a while you might need this. You can use this as a plumb bob too. Sometimes you take the side and you get whatever color chalk. I usually like to use blue, but somebody put green in here from before, and that's and I don't even have any chalk for this. So when that runs out, it runs out until I get some more chalk. So this could be something good that you might want to get for your arsenal. Okay, I got everything swept up. Now I've got all the curves on there just using my skill saw. Look at that. Just using my skill saw and my rasp. What do you think about that? That looks pretty good. Okay, so now I've got to measure and mark and cut for my 2x6s that go on the side. Now see, since I cut that angle, see, I'm gonna have a 2x6 on this edge standing up, and I'm gonna have one on this edge standing up. But since I cut this edge, had I left that square, I would have started the 2x6 all the way to the end. But because I've made it at a slight angle, now I gotta kind of figure out what to make the length of that, and I'll just have to kind of figure this out here. because I don't want it to go beyond the curve, right? So the curve now is about 1.5 inches. So I'm gonna put a mark. Oh, that's 1.25 inches. Okay, I'm gonna put a mark at 1.25 inches on all these. 1.25 inches. That should be fine. 1.25 inches on this one. And then I can measure, and I know both of them are going to be the same length, right? So I can take this out and I can hold my tape long, put it on there, and read that. That looks like, let's see here, 71.5, okay? 71.5. So I'm going to take both my 2x6s, 71.5, and I wish I had my a square. I don't. 71.5, okay? So I'm going to look at these. That one looks pretty straight. If I had a square, I was going to show you my square, but I don't think I have one here. This one's got a chip out of it, so I'm going to cut this end off. I'm going to flip this around, 71. What did I say? 71.5. Measure twice, cut once. You probably remember. I forget now. Okay. Y'all, 71.5, right? Yeah, 71.5. I'm going to make it a short half. Okay, so I'm going to 71 and a short half is a 1/16 less than that, okay? Less than 71.5. And I could do 3 lines, or hold my tape there and make 2 more marks. There's my line. Okay. 71 and a half. Now I have to reset my fence. Boy, I got that on there tight, huh? There. Push that all the way up. Put on my foot. 71 and a half. Okay. And there's my first one. Okay. I'm going to look at this one, and I see that there's a crack on it, and no crack on this side. This looks pretty straight. I'm going to use that as straight edge, and I'm going to cut that crack side off. Okay. Just because. I mean, if it has a hairline crack, you could leave it if you wanted. 71 and a half. 71 and a short half. 71 and a short half. Put my tape right in the middle. Put lines on both sides. If you were to put a square on there, it's going to be within millimeters, okay? I got my ear plugs in and my goggles on. And I'm sure there's going to be a viewer out there that says, "Hey Joe, you shouldn't cut like that off your foot. You can cut your foot off. What are you doing?" If you've ever been to a construction site, and you watch guys who've been doing construction for 20 years, it's the same way they cut. There's no other way to cut it. They're not going to put it on a bench and use a skill saw up there. It just takes too much time. They do everything off the ground. Well, lots of people do everything off the ground. Or, you know, if one guy's there on a chop saw or something like that, and he's just cutting all day long and handing them to different people, that's something different. But I'm not going to, who's got time and the effort and the energy to set up all those tables and all that kind of stuff just to cut a 2x6, right? Okay, so there's my tube. Now, since I got the skill saw out, because I just cut these, I'm going to cut the 2 legs for underneath, and I measured those and they come out to 6 3/4, and that's going to be just fine to fit underneath here, 6 3/4. Okay, so I'm going to use the side that I just cut off. All right, 6 3/4, 6 3/4, 6 3/4, both sides. 6 3/4. If I had a square, I'd just make one line, flip it around, get my square. Okay, but because I don't, I'm not going to cry about it. I'm just going to do what I need to do to get it done, right? 6 3/4. Make a mental note. Maybe I should, next time I'm at the hardware store, get a square for here. Or I might even have 2 squares at home, and I can bring one here, leave it Motha's. Now I have to be careful with this one because it's a smaller block, okay? But I can still do it off my foot. 6 3/4. It's a little trickier, but you can do it. There's my 2 feet, right? Those are going to end up going underneath here. One there, like that. Okay? It'll be right in the middle. I can either run them that way or I can run them this way. I just have to decide how I want to do it. I think I'm going to run them this side, because once they're in there, less likely to wobble around. I don't think it's really going to matter either way. But I'm going to put them that way. Okay, you can do them whichever way you want. Okay, so now I'm ready for the next step, right? And that is to put the side rails on. Okay, so I'm just going to sweep up some of this sawdust, and I'm starting to make a little pile over here, just so I don't get it traipsed over any place. And these aren't brand new 2x6s. I noticed they got a slight warp to them, but that's going to be okay. Because there's still a little bit of slop in there, okay? And so I'm gonna put this, I'll have to figure this out here. I'm gonna have to lift up the side, look at this, and see which one is straighter. Maybe the more crooked one I'll put on the other side of the bed, and the straighter one, I think on the straighter one, I'll put that one on the front side where Mother gets in. Like I said, I don't think it really matters that much. Okay, see what's happening here? This goes right on that edge. Okay, like that, and I'm gonna line that. I'm gonna line that up. Maybe I'm gonna just keep the camera rolling. Hammer. And that's why I put the 1.25 inch mark on there. Like that. And then I can check I can check this other end to see how close it is. It's right on. Okay? And now I've got that really close there. Screw it in. Oh, come on. That felt like it spun, didn't it? It felt like it spun, but before I do anything, I'm gonna get this other end. I don't think it's sucked down tight before the top started spinning. Well, look at that. That looks pretty good. Right about there. And see, I'm only going down 1.25 inches. I could use 1 5/8 screws, right? I could. I think I have a few, but I had more 1 1/4 inches, and if I'm careful, I should be able to use them. I'm just going to back out that first one. Okay. Now, before I do anything, and see, they might not be sucking up because I'm at a slight angle. So I'll go over at this side now. Lift this up. So the plywood is laying flat, and it's got a slight bow to it. I'm going to put the bow facing out. Okay. Ah, look at that. The screw came out. The screw came out because it's too short. I'll try putting in another screw just for the time being. And get this up. And I might have to use some longer screws. Maybe. If you want to, hopefully you're still with me watching this. Okay. I'm gonna get a screw down here at the end. Let's see. Right where it's at. See, that one held. Why this other one didn't hold? Because like I said, the plywood was at an angle, so I'm trying to screw down through the angle of the dangle. You know? Yeah, see, if I screw it too hard, it starts spinning. Okay, so I'm gonna see. I think I have some longer screws. Usually, whenever I do something, I always like to carry extra screws. See, so here I got inch. No, those are 1 1/4 inches. Here's some 2 inch. Here's some 2 inch, and I wish I had some 1 5/8, but I don't. I have some at home. I usually carry 1 5/8, 1 1/4, 2 inch, 2.5, and 3 inch screws. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a few of these 2 inch screws. Okay, not all of them, and then I can use 1 1/4 for the rest. Make sense? Okay. Who's talking? Who's talking now? I'm not going to be defeated. Never. Hey, whenever you do a project, if something goes wrong, you can say, hey, what would VideoJoe do? Okay, and at that end, I can take that 1¼ one out because I can save those and reuse those. Okay, so on this side, I'm gonna put 2 more long ones. Okay, 2 more long ones. Here's an 1.5" I got in this 2-inch box. Let's see if. Oh, that's a square head screw. Sometimes you get those. That didn't come in this box. That came from something else. Okay. And so I'm gonna take out the 1.8". And this one had a slight bow in it. So now I can hit the middle. And it's not stuck out very far, but I had more room at the bottom than I did the front. It's gonna fit fine. Okay. So let's see. That's an 1.5". Here's an 1.5". I'm gonna save that in case I ever need it for something else. Okay. And now I got an 1.5/8" screw, and I'll save that for something else. And then I have some 1.25". Now see, if I didn't put those blocks in the middle, look, I could stand up on here, but it's still slightly bowed. I can see, and so that's where I'm going to put those legs under there. That's going to be kind of tricky in itself. Now these, I'm just not going to try to sink them in tight. I'm just going to make them snug. See, I could have done that on all of them, but I'm just trying to do a good job to make sure it doesn't ever want to fall apart. There. There's always seems like there's a method to my madness sometimes. That spun because I did it too hard, and the reason why is because it hit harder wood here. So I'm just going to take that and move it over. Okay. Now there's the essence of my box. Okay. Now the tricky part is to get those 2x6s in there and to know exactly how to hit them. You know what I mean? Because I've got to line them up, and they're a little bit higher than the rest of the box. You see? Because those legs are going to fit down all the way. I think yeah. Dang it. I just messed up. I can't use those blocks. I measured from the very bottom. And I had enough too. Damn it. I had enough. Because see, these go from the top down, and I measured 6 3/4 from the bottom of the 2x6 on down to the floor. Silly rabbit. So those 6 3/4 inch blocks aren't going to work. It's 6 3/4. It's 6 3/4 from the very bottom. From the very bottom here. Okay? So it's going to be 6 3/4 plus 5 1/2. Cavity nabbit. And I don't know if I would have had enough. Let's see how long these are. Look at that. 5 5/8. These would have been almost perfect had I not cut them. See what happens? See what happens sometimes? I was going too quick, and I should have been mindful. Okay, so now I gotta put my my thinking cap on. I may have to cut these two blocks just a hair shorter for the length, and go like that, and then I can screw that on the side of one. You know what I mean? And or I can take this plywood. Here, I've got this little piece of plywood, remember? I can cut the plywood in half, put it on the back side, screw that in with 1 1/4 screws. And that'll work. I can cut this in half. There. I've got it fixed. But now I've got to double check my measurements and make sure I do it right.